Hi, and welcome back to Crazy Talk 411. I'm Paul, and I'm doing a remote today with Tyler, and I have John in the studio here as well today.
Hiding behind the camera.
Hiding behind the camera. He's the smart one. I've got a face for radio. Welcome to the program, and our segment today is going to be on an everyday carry bag or an EDC. I've asked Tyler to come in. He has an excellent little EDC bag that we're going to go through. So Tyler, why don't you walk us through what you have in the bag and a quick explanation of why you have it.
Okay, essentially an EDC, let's call it a man purse. It is what it is. Okay, an EDC bag
It's a satchel.
It's a manchel. So,
Indiana Jones wore one, dude. It's cool.
yeah, well, maybe. The one that I've got here is actually a little survival bag that I put together. This one is the Maxpedition Fatty. Blade HQ has this in sporadically because they move so fast. I've tried 3 times and I do stuff with them, and so couldn't get a hold of one until just recently. Basically, the reason why I like the Fatty is it's big enough to put the stuff that I want into it. So we'll cover this one, and we'll maybe do another segment on actual man purses, because I carry those too. Well, don't tell anybody. Okay, so in this one, basically what I've got is I cracked this little guy open, and I've filled it up with, I've got a Garmin in here, which is GPS. I've got 3 sources of fire. One of them is this little Habilis Flint Striker. It's spelled Habilis. And what I've done with that is, if you see some of these Flint Strikers, the top of them will screw off the top. And they've got a little hole, looks like a little pill holder is what I thought of the first time I found it. And what I've done with this is taken some cotton and added petroleum jelly to it. Vaseline will work if you're in the field. Any type of cloth, which is essentially your wick, and any type of wax, but preferably Vaseline is what you've done to create a squishy candle. What you can do with that is you can squish it out. You only need a pinch size and squish it out the size of a penny, and then use your knife. It's best to use the angled back part of the blade, but if you need to, you can use the front and just strike it. Pull the striker away, keep the blade in one spot, and one of those little I wouldn't know what to call those, embers?
Yeah, it's an ember. It's a burning ember.
Little chunks of flaming steel hit the petroleum jelly. It'll burn for about 2 or 3 minutes. So that's a really good way to get your fire started, even in the cold. And it is, I mean, the device itself holds its own kindling, so that's really, really cool.
Yeah, it looks nice and lightweight as well.
Nice and small. I've got a bigger one in here because you always want plan A, plan B, and plan C, especially when it comes to fire. Let me back up a little bit. I know Paul likes the Bic. We had this conversation at about 10,000 foot when I had one of these little butane fire starters that would not work. But I got a new butane fire starter. I'm just going to spell this one for you. It's Xikar, Xikar, I'm guessing. I actually got 2 of them. I tested this one at 10,000 feet, and it does work. And for those of you that don't know, a butane lighter is it's a little cigarette lighter that has a hole in the back that you can buy butane and push it on the back and refill it. But it's a nice little flame blows out of there. The reason why this one works and the reason I like it is it's adjustable on the bottom. So if I can't get the flame I'm looking for, I can just twist that back. Maybe you can hear it. You guys hear that?
I don't think we can hear that, but
All right,
it has a nice flame on it, and Tyler did dial it up and down for your viewing pleasure.
Absolutely. Okay, so what else I've got in here? I've got a flashlight. Now, I like these Phoenix lights. I really do like the Phoenix light. This is a Surefire, which is the one I've had for a long time in law enforcement. The Phoenix lights, I like them because they use less juice, and they cost about a quarter of the price of a Surefire. But I stuck the Surefire in this little survival bag because of the fact it takes one 1-2-3 battery, and if I only stick one battery in there, I can stick 2 or 3 batteries in here, and that's a copious amount of time that I have a flashlight.
I gotta agree with you. I do like that Phoenix light, primarily because they run off of AA's, and that AA battery is a lot more easy to find than the 1-2-3.
And that's true too, because the AA's will actually work in my GPS as well. Right now I've got 4 AA's and 3 1-2-3 batteries, all in my EDC kit. It's good to have it all the same battery, but you use what you can afford. This is something I had for a while. For my 3rd fire starter, I've got this thing called a Strike Force. And essentially it's this plastic container with a rope on the side of it that pops in half. And inside of that is a big, giant Ferrocerium striker. And the reason why I like this one is this bigger stick of Ferrocerium, which I don't know why they name it that, but it tends to last longer and it throws out some huge shower of sparks. So,
For those of you that can't see that, this striker device actually looks like a small travel toothpaste or toothbrush case.
yeah, I never really thought of that.
That just to give you perspective, it's about half the size of a travel toothbrush.
They're called a Strike Force. They do have them on Blade HQ. I actually got mine at Kirkham's in Salt Lake way back in the day. And in the back of it, it has what they call a wet fire. And it's basically this little bag of kindling that has some sort of chemical in it, which is not too dissimilar to the petroleum and cotton I was talking about earlier. You could take the back of this thing and fill it with petroleum cotton. I'm going to bet you can get 2 or 3 months worth of fires just out of that alone. But I have never used that one, so I've still got it back there. One of the other things I've got in here, I've got a lot of people they underestimate the value of a pill case, a used Walgreens pill case in being a waterproof container. I've taken this one and put a couple of MRE toilet papers and a couple of matches inside of that. So if you need to use the restroom, you've got those, and if not, you can use them as kindling. And then the last thing I've got in here is a very small Essie knife. It's the CANDEU, Kangaroo, which is a dinky little ESEE knife. I got this one at Blade HQ, and then I took a blowtorch to some Kydex and made a knife sheath so I can hang that around my neck.
I like that. I like the 550 cord that you have in there. That's something that has a tremendous amount of utility, and you'll find in a lot of kits. You know, this kit that Tyler has brought here today, you can't see it, but to put it in perspective, it's roughly about a 5x7 pouch. And it truly is an everyday carry. You know, a lot of people will say, hey, I have an EDC or an everyday carry bag, and it's the size of a large book bag. And you're not necessarily going to carry that every day. This is something that could go easily into one of those type of bags or into your book bag if you needed. But it, you know, would fit very easily into a glove box or in the side of the car door. It truly is an everyday carry bag.
And I added a little bundle of 550 cord that I stuck in the inside of it. It just squashes up really well. And I have one chemical light, Snap and Shake Chemolite, that is actually really good for rescue. You can tie that to the end of the 550 cord and spin it around and make a circle. They can actually be seen by a helicopter from a very long distance. And I don't need a fire to create that light. And if my other light breaks, it's my good backup. The last thing I'm going to throw out on this is this little bag, which is really nice. You can actually take this bag and stick it in your big bag. If you've got a shoulder bag, a backpack, or something, I have the survival-related items in just this one thing so that I don't have all this piddly junk kicking around everywhere. And that's nice because if I want to go from a big backpack where I'm going to an overnighter to a day hike to my EDC bag, I can take this one bag and just move it. So it's always really nice to have a bag inside of a bag inside of a bag and have whatever kit it is that you need. You know, we do that a lot often with medical kits, but we don't often do that with a lot of the EDC.
So the purpose of this bag is to cover the absolute basics that you need to get you back to your primary shelter or another one of your bags that will be able to sustain you for a little bit longer, like a 72-hour kit.
Yeah, and this one it's so small too, and you would use that to get yourself back, but I find I use this when I go hiking. I mean, whenever I'm going camping, we talk about survival. When I talk about survival, I'm talking about, hey, what you doing this weekend? Let's go survive for 3 days. You know, and a lot of people look into it as this big epic failure, but if you were prepared and you got yourself into that bad situation, it's not a survival situation. It's, oh, hey, I guess we're going to stay out here for 3 more days instead of just getting out of here. So, go ahead, John.
I got a quick question. Now you have this EDC bag. You put this together, and you say you get it at Blade HQ, or you can buy these off Amazon. Now, can you buy them coming with the basics, or are they just the bag?
You can actually. This one I bought because I already had most of the junk that I wanted to put in it.
Right, so you're able to customize it the way you liked it.
Which, I mean, that's one way to go. But if you just want to buy one, that company, ESEE, that I talked about earlier, they've got them. You can just go on Blade HQ and type in ESEE Survival. It'll have the majority of what I've got in here. So I'm going to have a $300 GPS in there. But it'll have a small compass. But again, if you don't know how to use a compass, it's good to bring that GPS. So,
Any bag that you buy is going to need to be customized, and everybody out there are going to have different needs. You may have some specific medical requirements, seasonal allergies, so in that pill box you could put some pills in there. Another good thing to do would be to put some cash inside of that. So whatever you need for your specific environment and different regions. If you're in northern Utah, it's going to be a little bit different than what you would be, carrying in southern Utah. Southern Utah is going to be a lot drier. Water is going to be a necessity. So that might be something with the bag that you have where it has an attachment for a water bottle. Every situation is going to be different. This is just one particular one that Tyler brought in, and it works real well.
yeah, or if you're in Afghanistan, you need to buy yourself out of the country. So, it just, it completely depends on the situation. And that one's set up because I go hunting a lot, I go hiking a lot. I'll do a lot of stuff by myself because I work some strange hours, and sometimes I want to leave at midnight and go winter camping, and I have to be back by 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday, and for some reason I end up going by myself. So when that happens, I bring a bag like this that's got extra batteries and stuff, and you could maybe add a compass to it and so forth. But ultimately, I don't have a compass because I've never not known where north and south is. If you can see the sun, if you can see the stars, you're good to go on that. But again, that comes with training, which is the most important thing. I may be the geardo here, but it's more important for me to know what I'm doing than it is for me to have all the gear, because if I know what I'm doing, I can make the tools, use that one knife that I have on me, and go from there.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining us on Crazy Talk 411. I want to thank Tyler. I want to thank John. And stay tuned for more upcoming adventures with Tyler.
Okay, so that will be a 12-minute. That's close enough. We were at 7, and I'm like, we need a little more. But if I can let them know the exact time on them, I'm going to kill the recording.